Hi, I'm Nancy Nash with Starfish Strength, and this is Exercise 101, a series where we break down exercise form and help you get the most out of every rep. Today, I want to help you with the dead bug. Whether you're a beginner and this is the first time you're trying this exercise, or you have abs of steel and you're looking to take yourself to the next level, we're going to start off with the basics and go through some progressions so that you have something you can use wherever you're at in your wellness routine. Getting started, you will just need a couple things. Basically, enough space to lay yourself completely down on the floor. If you're really tall like me, that might be a substantial amount of space. And an exercise mat or a towel does nicely if you don't have an exercise mat handy. So for the progressions that I'm going to show today, you will want a looped band, an exercise ball or a Swiss ball, and some ankle weights. And if all you have today is yourself, your energy, and your exercise mat, that's perfect. We'll make sure this is a great workout for you too. Shelby, is there anything else you want to add?
Starfish Strength Inc. recommends you consult your healthcare professional before beginning any exercise program. This content is intended for informational purposes and should not be used to self-diagnose or self-treat any health, medical, or physical condition.
Great, let's get started. As you may know, the dead bug is a great exercise for strengthening the abs. But did you know that it's really a great leg strengthener too? So if I'm doing things like climbing the stairs in my house, going for a hike in a hilly neighborhood, all of those things involve my hip flexors and my quads, which will be trained in this exercise. Firstly, we are going to lay all the way down on the floor for this. And then I'm going to think about my pelvic tuck. If you stick your hand back here, you'll probably feel that naturally you've got a little curvature in the spine. Some of us have a lot, but you should have just a little room for your hand. So we're going to zero all that space out. So I'm going to exhale all my air. Think about drawing the belly button towards the floor. And then release. So we want to remember what this feels like. Some of us like to call this the suck and tuck. This is the pelvic tilt. So this is going to affect what muscles we're using in this workout. Remembering my pelvic tuck, I'm now going to lift the knees just above my hips. The further towards my shoulders I bring them, the easier it is to hold. So keep that in mind as well. Full progression of this exercise, I'm going to pull my belly in, and then I'm going to bring my knee right in line with my hip. And I'm going to keep my lower back flat while I'm doing that. So try that again. So draw the belly in, bring the knees up, and then keeping the knees up, even on just one side, try bringing that knee over the hip. You'll start to find that your lower abs feel like they are alive. Shaking is okay. That means that the muscles are working. So now I'm going to bring both knees right over the hips, wrists right over the shoulders. So I'm really going to make sure that I've got no space here. You can have a friend reach a hand under there if you want to. Now I'm really going to think about pulling the belly button towards the floor as I press opposite heel and opposite hand, nice and long. Let's talk about alignment. So now I'm going to pay attention to keeping the hip, knee, and ankle all in a nice straight line. So let me show you where I would start if I'd never done this exercise before. I would recommend getting my pelvic tilt first. I would lift one of the legs and one of the arms. So I'm going to press out, pull back in, and then set the foot down. Then I'm going to lift the other arm, press out, pull back in, set the leg down. So what I'm trying to do here is make sure that I can really keep my belly button drawn in, really keep my abs contracted as I'm pressing the foot. So this should feel like lengthening and strengthening. So I'm going to lengthen the back of the leg, really extending, pressing through the heel. And then I'm also only lowering the leg so far as I can control my lower abs. You notice that I didn't have my heels on the floor. So if this felt too difficult, I would say raise the leg and press it out. Because you'll notice that now that I'm not as close to the floor, this feels a little bit easier. My second progression of this would be to hold one leg up for an extended period of time. So I'm going to press out and pull back in. So I can take that pull back in as that kind of reset to really make sure my back is nice and flat. Now, if this feels like, I really can't keep my back flat, I'm just going to extend a little ways and then pull back in, or also remembering that I could lift the heel higher and press the leg higher, and that's also going to feel a little bit easier. So I'd recommend maybe trying 8 on one side, 8 on the other. Once that feels good and you've got your heels pretty close to the floor, now I'm going to bring both knees up and try the full version. I might find that I need my heels lifted a little higher to get started. And then over time, or maybe even your second set of these in the same workout, you feel like you can go a lot lower. So remember, you decide how hard this exercise is. Even if all you have to work with is your body weight, you can get a great workout. So let's talk about progressing this. So the first progression I'm going to show you is with a stability ball. I'm going to squeeze the stability ball between my hands and my knees. And the reason I use the sandwich analogy is sometimes people kind of squeeze it like this. I'm going to squeeze it like this. So the stability ball is the center of the sandwich. I still want to make sure that my knees are lined up right over my hips, so I don't want to bring them too far in. So if you need a larger ball, that might work a little bit better for you. And then I want to make sure that my shoulders and my wrists are approximately lined up here. All right, so you're going to find that as soon as you do this, your abs are a lot more alive than they were when we were doing this without the stability ball, right? Just holding in this start dead bug position. So now as I press out with opposite hand, opposite foot, I should really feel not just that my abs have to contract, right, to hold it like this, but I'm also really going to use my hip muscles, right? I'm really going to use my thighs. So I'm more powerfully using everything here. And you notice that, my knees are coming back like this, but this is still a difficult exercise, right? Because I'm contracting the whole time. I'm really squeezing. In my opinion, this is a lot more difficult than that little crunch machine at the gym that you can put like 120 pounds on. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. The next progression I want to show you is with a looped band. If you are someone who likes to cycle or you like to run, you're definitely going to see that translation here. So I'm going to place the band right around the arches of my shoes, and you're going to see that it's a little bit of a struggle already. I've got to make sure that I keep my feet, knees, and hips all the same width apart still. So even doing that, now I've turned on my glutes just a little bit. I'm going to pull the abs in, and now I'm going to think about it a little bit more like a bicycle, like pressing and pulling. So I'm not like pulling my knee up to my chin, but you can see I'm pulling it back a little bit as I press out. So this becomes a much greater leg exercise now too. So you should feel this in the back of the leg as well as the front. I'm going to feel it in the back of the thigh, the hamstrings, the glutes, the booty, maybe in my calves too if I'm lucky. So it kind of depends on what feels awake right now and what feels like it needs a little more conditioning to get strong in this position. So as you can see, the dead bug is a great cross-training exercise. I want to show you a variation with ankle weights. If you are looking for a way to strengthen your legs and be off your feet, this is a great exercise for that. So keeping the abs contracted the best I can, I'm going to press out and pull back in. So now you're going to notice that this has not only really become a leg exercise, it's become a difficult leg exercise. As someone who has sustained multiple ankle injuries, this is a great rehab exercise for the legs. So always remember, there is some exercise for you, even if you are in a state of injury or you just can't work out like you were. This is such a great accessory exercise. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found something you can use to seize your inner star. Feel free to let me know in the comments below if I've left out any of your favorite tips and what other exercises and topics you'd like to see me cover in future videos. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next video. I think I passed the test. He thinks I'm dead.